Wow. What a day. What a day. Yesterday, today, a lot to talk about, but I have to. We have to delve into the SBF World Tour 2022. Remember those t-shirts that they used to sell back in the 1980s? Van Halen World Tour 1984. Yeah, it's Sam Bankman-Fried World Tour 2022. He does Dealbook yesterday. Good Morning America. I don't know what other shows he did over the course of the day. It was both surreal and ridiculous at the same time. But I couldn't take my eyes off the damn thing. I couldn't take my eyes off the interview. I mean, this guy is such a bad freaking liar. You can't even get over it. I don't know if you're I'm a Tarantino fan. He didn't direct the movie True Romance, but I think he had a hand in producing it or writing it. And there's a scene in that movie between Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken. And it's a phenomenal scene. Phenomenal scene. Two unbelievable actors. And Christopher Walken playing this not mob boss. He was a mob lawyer talking about pantomimes and how Sicilians are the world's greatest liars, and how they can also tell how someone's lying once you can figure out what the pantomimes are. I mean, this guy was it was blatant, obvious. It was off the charts. I watched this, and again, I've seen some of the pictures. I've seen some of the pictures over the years. They tout this guy. This is a guy that was taking, legal drugs, Parkinson's medication, Parkinson's patches to increase, I guess, serotonin in the brain, which would give him more of a, more inclined to take on risk. Let me ask you a question. You want to work with me if I'm taking, they're not illegal drugs, but they weren't prescribed to him by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, it makes you want to pull your hair out to some degree. You can look at the pitch book for Alameda for these things, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know how you get yourself mixed up in something like this. It's absolutely foolish. It really is. Again, he's pointing the finger here, there, and everywhere. And this, I disagree with Andrew Ross Sorkin, and this is becoming kind of, I don't know if it's by design, but it's becoming the, how shall I put it? The lie becoming the truth. So we put it that way, becoming conventional wisdom, shall we say. That he is doing this, he's doing these interviews, he's doing the SBF World Tour, even though his lawyers don't want him to. Don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. I believe he knows exactly what he's doing. I believe that he knows he has been caught. And the only way out of this one is I'm an idiot. I didn't know any better. Give me a reduced sentence. These are sociopaths. We just watched Elizabeth Holmes and try to weasel her way out of jail. She actually got herself pregnant to try to induce sympathy. These are sociopaths. This is a guy, I'm down to my one working credit card and $100,000. Where's that $300 million you took out of the company not too long ago? Where'd it go? Timmy's got $100,000. This guy looted the place. The Caribbean, he's in the Bahamas. The Caribbean had, go to Cozumel. You can go to the Caymans. You want to hide money? You can hide money. And that's exactly what he did. I don't know. I don't know whether or not, people saying he's going to get prosecuted. I'm not so sure. I am not so sure. With that type of money that he has taken out, with that type of loot, if he's taking all this money out of the company, sitting around in bank accounts, that can find its way to the right places. Just saying. Can find its way to the right places. So I'm not so sure. And again, I know exactly what this guy's game is, right now. I didn't know what was going on. I was lending this and I didn't pay any attention. We didn't have the proper risk controls. Whatever, man. It's even funnier is that you got Senate meeting today. Yeah, Agriculture Committee. Senate Agriculture Committee having hearings. Isn't it ironic, as Alanis Morissette once sang, isn't it ironic that the Republican and Democratic heads of this committee both took sizable contributions from FTX and SBF? Met with him on plenty of occasions over the past year. Shocker. Agriculture Committee, why in the world is the Agriculture Committee dealing with cryptos? Because they, again, the crypto industry doesn't want to deal with the SEC. You're dealing with the SEC, there's a lot more disclosure. You're going to be beholden to certain advertising requirements, not the same rules and regulations as commodities. The CFTC chairman's like, we can do it. We can handle. We can do it. It's not a freaking commodity. Explain to me how it is a commodity. It's not. It's much closer to being a security, meaning it's fungible. It has a so-called value put upon it. It can be exchanged. It's more of a security than it is a commodity. But again, the crypto businesses, they want to work with the commodities, the CFTC, rather than the SEC. Gary Gensler says, you know what? We need to be handling this. You know what I say? I say neither. Like I said before, neither. I don't want the SEC. I don't want the CFTC. I don't want my tax dollars regulating this thing. I don't want to waste the freaking money. We're $30+ trillion in debt. So we got to regulate some made up money? I'm sorry. You know what you do? You put a biohazard warning on all these cryptos. You say, buyer beware. You want to get involved in this? Have at it. Have at it. That's on you. You decide that's the direction you want to go. God bless you. Good luck. Good luck to you. Again, I always go back in my mind. It's like and again, I'm a big fan of the movie Jaws, and Quint, one of the greatest characters, telling he's loading the shark cage on the boat. And he's like, oh, I got some half-ass astronaut here. And he goes, cage go in the water, you go in the cage, shark in the water, shark. And then he starts singing farewell and adieu. Okay, that's what happened. You want to buy cryptos, farewell and adieu. Best of luck to you. I don't want to waste my tax dollars regulating this nonsense, because that's what it is. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. What value does it bring to the planet at all? Can someone fill me in on it? What value it brings? Woo, blockchain technology. All right, you want to use the blockchain technology for mere things? Fine, okay? But spare me, okay? Spare me all of the wonderful things about crypto. It's a joke. Anyway, this is kind of funny. You get Debbie Stabenow. Yeah, she was Democrat. She took money from SBF. She said today, when exchanges accept customer funds for trading, they must not be allowed to gamble with those funds. You don't say. Thanks, Debbie. Did your friend John Corzine know that when he basically did the same thing with MF Global? They must not be allowed. This is almost too much. They must not be allowed to invent products that have little to no intrinsic value and accept them as collateral for loans. The whole thing is a product where they just make up the value. Debbie, do you know what this is? There's nothing behind it. Like I said, at least my baseball cards, at least I have a card with the statistics on the back. They're just making up money. There's nothing physical to touch or to hold or anything. They're just saying this air is worth this amount. I mean, isn't that exactly what the industry is? I get into this, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to retire. I don't know. Maybe I need to retire. The stupidity knows no bounds. It really doesn't. I mean, I've seen a lot of shit over the years, a lot of ripoffs and scams and the whole industry to me takes a cake. Takes the cake. They're legitimizing the entire thing. The advertisements running the entire year, here, there, and everywhere. Having celebrities endorse this stuff. Kind of like celebrities endorsing back in the day Stratton Oakmont and all of these penny stock companies. Have we lost our minds? Anyway. President Biden's student loan debt relief program, which seeks to forgive hundreds of billions of dollars owed by tens of millions of borrowers, handed another loss yesterday. Federal appeals court denied his request to reinstate it. Again, Biden didn't care. We mentioned that here on the program. He is just declaring and decreeing the continued COVID emergency, and you don't have to pay. Not to mention the fact he's actually sending out notices to borrowers that qualify for forgiveness. Again, get it through Congress, man. Listen, I'll fight it. But you win. Okay, you get it through Congress. Okay, it's legal. You declare and decree that all of a sudden you don't have to pay back these loans. Where in the Constitution does it give you that authority? Anyway, we mentioned Fannie and Freddie are going to start backstopping loans over $1 million in certain markets around the country. And I took a little further look into this. I kind of missed this the first time around. Technically, that would allow for first-time home buyers to put 3% down on $1 million home. What the hell could possibly go wrong there? Holy shit. Why would you do that? Why would you? I remember back in 2008, 2009, again, you got all these Wall Street financial engineers and collateralized debt and all these funky mortgage products. These funky mortgage products actually came from, I don't know if you're aware of this, actually came from Andrew Cuomo when he worked under the Clinton administration as the Housing and Urban Development Chair. Oh, yeah. Again, John McCain, other Republicans were warning about what was going on at Fannie and Freddie. Remember Maxine Waters talking about Franklin Raines and the great leadership under Franklin Raines. This is awesome. What was the matter with the world when you wanted to buy a house? You went to the bank, your local bank, the bank knew you, you put your 20% down or more, and you bought the house. If you're putting 3% down, on $1 million home, you're probably going to have to pay $400 to $500 a month in mortgage insurance on top of that. You've bought a home that you should know. You bought a home. I want it. Such the American way. I got to have it now. I want it now. I want my $1 million home now. On the back of taxpayers, because these loans are backstopped by taxpayers. Granted, okay, there's a house to go along with it if you default on it. But, maybe you want to work your way up to the $1 million home. You can't afford to put 20% down. $1 million house. You can't afford to put $200,000 down. Don't buy it. Well, it's very expensive in New York and it's very expensive in San Francisco. I know. You don't have to live there. You don't. Move out to Queens. You go to some of the boroughs until you can afford to buy those homes. Now, all this does, and they're like, oh, this is going to allow for more people to get in. Bullshit. That might be the case, but it's just going to drive the price of the houses up. You make homes more affordable. They're not more affordable, okay? You're going to make people house poor is what you're doing. You're making people house poor. How is house poor good for the economy? Anyway, I guess the EU is, they're asking all the member states to set a price on Russian oil at $60 a barrel. 60. It originally was at 70, and I guess Poland, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania objecting to that. They're saying it's way too generous to Russia. Again, the rest of the continent needs the oil. And they're like, we just got to get it out. So, okay, they're going to be buying Russian oil, but at $60 a barrel, maybe. This and other news, China and India are buying Russian crude at a 40% discount. 40% discount. Basically, if they all agree on this cap and it's sold at that price, then they can insure the ships when they transport it, because you need to have insurance. There's some concern if it doesn't go through. The Russians will start shipping it to places on their own. And obviously, Russian ships, what could possibly go wrong there? We all know, we all get that the high quality items that come out of Russia. I mean, what? Caviar and vodka? You want to have oil, floating around in the ocean when Russian ship? No, thanks. No, thanks. Anyway. Okay. It's going to put a dent in Russia's ability to make money. They're still making money. Anyway. Twitter owner Elon Musk confirmed what everybody with 2 functioning brain cells and the intellectual honesty already knows. The social media giant has interfered in elections. This was a discussion over a Reuters article in which the company's former head of trust and safety says Twitter is not safer under Musk. Twitter has shown itself to be not safe for the past 10 years and has lost users' trust. The past team of trust and safety is a disgrace, so it doesn't have the right to judge what's being done now. Adding, they had a chance, but they sold their souls to a corporation. And Musk replied, he said, exactly. The obvious reality, as longtime users know, is that Twitter has failed in trust and safety for a very long time and has interfered in elections. And he's saying Twitter 2.0 is going to be far more effective, transparent, and even-handed. Again, I guess also as well, he and Tim Cook from Apple had a face-to-face meeting out at Apple's Cupertino massive headquarters out there, and I guess all's fine. All's good. Again, you think about it to some degree. You've got a brand. Everybody knows Twitter, okay? A lot of accounts out there with Twitter, one of the original ones. And you can reset it and do it the right way. You can look at the other social media companies and see where they're going wrong and get it right. He's got an opportunity there. There's no doubt about it. Okay, yesterday we did the podcast before Powell and his little coffee talk. Well, Powell came out, and let me tell you exactly what happened. He confirmed what everybody was kind of figuring was going to happen. He took some uncertainty off the table. Markets get extremely volatile when there is uncertainty. Now the markets, based upon Powell's language yesterday, are certain that he's not going to raise by 75 basis points in December. And he said they're going to slow the pace of rate increases going forward. He didn't go all dovish. He said, we're going to continue to keep it high. We're going to look at the data. We're going to see. But basically confirming what everybody was thinking was going to happen. So again, take some uncertainty off the table. Markets go racing through the roof again. I was asked this question this morning, doing a guest appearance on a radio program. Chris, you must be happy. Markets racing through the roof yesterday. And I go to go to that scene in the movie Wall Street where Gordon Gekko was freaking out on Bud Fox because Blue Star's dropping. And Bud Fox tells him, Gordon, you told me one time, don't get emotional about stocks. No, you can't. Markets race through. You don't get emotional. You got to take emotion out of the equation. Just as much when things go down, you take emotion out of the equation. You've got to invest, kind of like Spock, like a Vulcan. Okay, you need to use logic and reason when it comes to investing, not emotion. Logic and reason. Yeah, great. Markets went up yesterday. Okay, again, the fundamentals change in any of the companies that I owned? No, not yesterday. So that's great. Markets are up yesterday. I'm worried about where they're going to be 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. All right. Democrats want a lame duck spending blowout. Again, we touched on this with the child tax credit. It looks like it's going to be much, much more. And Republicans want to spend a shit ton of money on defense. They want to spend a shit ton of money on defense, and they think that there's going to be some sort of omnibus deal. That's what Mitch McConnell wants. Throw everything in. Throw it all in. And you got guys that are retiring like, Shelby, who's going to want to throw as much pork in there as he possibly can back for his state, back in Alabama. Free for all. They're all pigs. Do you understand? Okay, you can call them donkeys, you can call them elephants. They're all pigs. And all they like to do is spend and spend and spend. Well, not all, but 99.9% of them. It's a reality. I'm sorry. It has to stop. It has to stop, all of this ridiculous spending. And I'm sorry, Republicans, if you don't get your defense spending for right now. I don't know. Why don't you guys actually put together a real budget rather than one of this reconciliation bullshit? Oh, I know it's going to be terrible. All these federal agencies are not going to do any increases if that's the case. I don't care. Make do with less, like the rest of us have to when the economy slows. Make do with less. Figure it out. One more thing. It's kind of got to go off the beaten track from time to time here in the program. Let's just know I'm a big sports fan. I love competition, in particular team sports, but just sports in general. I love to watch excellence. And I happen to be a huge soccer fan. My house, I was the oldest. I wasn't allowed to play football until I got to high school. And, the rules of family of boys, once the oldest one can do it, all the younger ones can instantly do it. So my younger brothers, they got to play football earlier than I did. With that being said, as much as I love playing American football on game days, our coach kind of sucked for the most, well, at least my varsity. Anyway, story for another day. Always loved soccer. Played from the time I was little. Played men's leagues rather on. I love the game. I think it's a great game to watch. There's certain things about it that obviously tick me off too. I hate the flailing around and the fake injuries and all that crap. I can't stand it. But there's also, for all you people that I can't stand soccer because of that. Listen, there's crap about American football that sucks. Whether it be the stupid instant replays, the fact that you can barely touch the quarterback anymore. I can get down a litany of things. Doesn't make football a bad game. They're just different. With that being said, put that aside. And we're cheering on America on Saturday. They face one of the world's best programs, best clubs, best countries as far as soccer, the Netherlands. There was a column in the Wall Street Journal talked about our conduct, after we all knew the political tensions and the stuff that was circling around the Iran game, and players shook hands, didn't, in essence, spike the football, if you will. That's one of the things I really can't stand about football, all the showboating crap that takes place. I'm a guy, you get the ball in the end zone, you hand the ball to the referee, you go back to the sideline. That's my style. I can't stand the showboating stuff. But anyway, neither here nor there. In this column, he makes a point. And I didn't even recognize it or realize it. Because I don't see people in the way that the left and the world wants to put people in different camps. I don't see Black people. I don't see Hispanic people. I don't see Asian. I just see people. And he made the point here. He's got a very, very young team. And he was talking about how ethnically diverse the team was. And I didn't even give it any thought. Didn't even think about it. But the point that he made in the article was, this is an ethnically diverse team, not because it was forced. It's because these kids are freaking good and have been working their asses off their entire lives to get to this point. Tell you something, soccer's a year-round sport. If you want to play at a higher level, you're playing year-round. Year-round. You got to keep your fitness up. You got to be able to run at least 10 miles over the course of the game. And it's a lot of skill involved in this game. And they worked their asses off. We didn't put the team together based upon, well, we got to have this one and we got to have that one, like we're doing with this bullshit ESG crap. And companies are feeling like they have to be forced to do. No, based upon merit. That's why we love sports. That's why I love sports. It's based upon merit. Have a great day, everybody. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com is our site. Quick program note before I go. No podcast tomorrow. I will be, just so you know, I'll be on Mornings with Maria tomorrow. And then I got a trip I got to do. I got to go right to the airport right after that. So I'm not going to have the opportunity to podcast tomorrow. However, national show, yes, we'll be on this weekend, and we'll have that up on all the podcast platforms everywhere. Bye-bye.